Hi everybody, welcome to the United Stand. Big Manchester United transfer news tonight as Manchester United enter the race for Fofana with Atletico Madrid. This is coming in from Damarcio, and apparently AC Milan are backing off again, just like they did with Xerxes. Plettigol is giving us updates on Ugarte. It's looking like it could be Fofana or Ugarte. Live poll, 76% of you want Ugarte. Do Man United? Do Ineos? Ineos? What's going on there? We'll have to wait and see. Also, we've got six Manchester United players that are apparently up for sale. That's come out today as well. Lots to get into. We'll also be talking about David De Gea and his return and who he blames at Manchester United for the end of his career, which has taken him a year to get over, of course. Lots more to get into on the show as well. There was something else I wanted to bring in. Amrabat, latest on Amrabat, latest on Chalobah as well. Lots to get into as well with you. And of course, as always, your opinions are absolutely valid. Before we do that, though, we have a sponsor tonight. It is Surfshark. You may well be aware of who they are. It's a VPN, which is a virtual private network, leading service for protecting your online data and privacy, securely safeguards private messages, photos, videos, and sensitive information. But the best part is it allows you to change your virtual location on platforms like Netflix for global content access. So if you're in the States and you've traveled over from, the UK, like Beth is at the moment, then when she gets to the States with Surfshark, she can change her location back to London if she wants to use her UK location. Also offers Surfshark One suite, including alert, browsing, antivirus, and alternative ID. You can use it on multiple platforms at the same time, i.e. you can be on your phone on Surfshark and on your laptop, and it works on Android, iOS, etc. The big thing is you can use the code UNITEDSTAND and get an extra 4 months free by using the link in the description or scanning the QR code. So you get 4 months free with the code UNITEDSTAND. It's a comprehensive digital protection package with a 30-day money back guarantee as well. Grab the exclusive offer with the code UNITEDSTAND for premium digital protection. Absolutely fantastic, and especially with the new season coming back, gives you that protection when you're surfing and looking at certain sites, I suppose. So there you go. Thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring today's show. Right, let's get into this show. So the big story today is we're talking about Damarcio's story, but what I didn't tell you in that intro is Goldbridge has done a little bit of homework, and with regards to Fofana, Ugarte, Zubimendi, Casemiro and Rabiot, I've put 5 players together. Not in a blender, that would be horrific. I've put 5 players together for last season stats, and I'm going to tell you what they're like for defensive actions, duels won, passes forward, success rate, etc., carrying the ball. So we can find out what type of players we are looking at here. So effectively, Damarcio is saying that Manchester United are in the race for Fofana from Monaco with Atletico Madrid, so much so that AC Milan are now looking at alternative players. Literally on the 2 o'clock show, there was a message coming out from Italy that AC Milan were very confident that they had the Fofana deal done. No, they're now looking at other options. This could be the second time this summer AC Milan have been done over by Manchester United. Now, look, do you want Fofana at Manchester United? There are so many things to get into tonight. I mean, Ugarte or Fofana, as I said on the poll, 75% of you want Ugarte. I sort of get that, but there was a story going round earlier this evening that Man United might not be as convinced about Ugarte as some people think. I forget where it was coming from, but I saw it on social media that some people at Man United aren't convinced about Ugarte. It's not that. That's not the case. You don't agree personal terms with a player and start bidding with PSG if you're not sure. It's a complete and utter lack of knowledge of how Manchester United work now. Berarda's not going to put his hand up and go, you know what, I don't actually like Ugarte, despite the fact that we're bidding for him and we've done personal terms. Same with Dan Ashworth, same with Jason Wilcox, same with Ten Hag. We've agreed on this deal as a collective. We've agreed with the player to come to Manchester United, and we're negotiating with PSG. It's not that we're getting cold feet on Ugarte as a signing. Maybe that might be the story that certain people at United want to put out there if we don't sign Ugarte. But you know what? If a wall is painted red and someone tells you it's blue, it's bloody red. And Manchester United do want Ugarte. That's their target. What I would say is maybe it's a bit of spin that if we don't get Ugarte, they'll put the story out that they weren't convinced, which is bullshit because they've done personal terms and they've bid with PSG. What I would say is it doesn't mean we're going to get Ugarte. And if we don't get Ugarte, it will be exactly what happened with Branthwaite. Like, I think we need to accept we might not get Ugarte. Not because he's not a high priority, he will be, but because we will pivot. We will go for other options. I said this on Monday. My worry about Ugarte is that if PSG don't play ball, we will pivot to another option. And it looks like this Tuesday night, that other option, well, it might be Zubimendi, it might even be Fofana. But if we don't get Ugarte, it's not because people don't want him. We've made that chat already. The board and Ten Hag want Ugarte. We've agreed personal terms. We've negotiated with PSG. The problem with Ugarte is quite simply this, and we've got the latest update coming in from Plettigol. He says Man United have already made several verbal offers for Ugarte to PSG, but they've been too low. PSG want at least £59 million. Negotiations still ongoing. This is not about Man United having cold feet about Ugarte or going, oh, maybe we don't like him. This is simply everybody has got a price, and 59 million ain't the price for Ugarte. Like, you know, I can't sit here like we did again with Branthwaite and saying we better bloody walk and then say we better not walk from Ugarte. You got to walk. You got to walk away from that deal. 100%. You can't pay 59 million pounds. You walk. You get your coat, you walk. It's like that moment in Heat. Don't attach yourself to something that you can't walk away from in 11 seconds and when you feel the heat. Brilliant film. De Niro said it. Armed robber said, you know what, don't attach yourself to anything in your life that you can't get up and walk away from in 10 seconds when you feel the heat coming round the corner. And exactly that with Manchester United. This, you know, maybe Sir Jim Radcliffe's a big fan of the film. Maybe he's a big De Niro fan. I certainly am. And you know what? I like Ugarte, but are we so attached that we can't walk away from it when PSG are trying to take the piss? 59 million's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. They didn't even pay that for him a year ago. They paid 60 million euros a year ago. That's 52 million pounds and they want 59 now. Forget about it. Go fuck yourself, basically. Absolutely get stuffed. Forget about it. No chance. No, 59 million pounds. Who do you think you are? Paris Saint-Germain? Who do you think you are? 59 million. You didn't even pay that for him a year ago. You paid 60 million euro a year ago and now you want to get rid of him after a year. What planet do you think we're from? The planet Pratt? Oh, PSG want to get rid of Ugarte after 1 year. Oh, he simply must have gone up in value. He must have gone up in value. Absolute nonsense. So, look, if we pivot from Ugarte to Fofana, don't blame Ineos, don't blame Ugarte, don't blame Everton, don't blame Branthwaite. Actually, do blame Everton. Blame PSG. You know, PSG, if they want to ask for stupid money, forget about it. Forget about it. But you know what? Honestly, I don't think the Ugarte deal's dead because we're dealing with PSG for Sancho as well. We've got good relationships with PSG. So I don't for 1 minute think this deal's dead. I just think that PSG are asking for stupid money. And you can't ask for an increase on a player that you bought a year ago that you want to sell. Yeah, so look, we'll see what happens with that. But on Fofana, it's looking like it's serious. As Celine Dion once sang, this is getting serious. This is serious. No, I'm not singing that. It is getting serious. So I think that it would be well worth having a look at the type of midfielder Fofana is. Marvin says he's just another Fred. I mean, I always think with someone like Fofana, where's the list of Premier League clubs trying to buy him? AC Milan, Atletico Madrid. Woo! He's hitting the top of the charts, isn't he? Wow! You've really got the big hitters going for you, mate. AC Milan and Atletico Madrid. Well, let's join the party. You know, for me, it worries me a little bit that there ain't a big mass amount of clubs going for him if he's so bloody good. Is he a number 8 or is he a number 6? Well, I think that... Well, look, let's go through this very quickly because this is stats. So I use Y-Scout. You have to pay for it, but it's very, very good in relation to statistical analysis. And I don't even like stats. So if I'm going to use stats, I want to get it from somewhere good. So if we take last season, look, What I would say about Fofana is I describe him as an 8. He ain't a 6. There's no way he's a 6. And people will go, well, he plays in a double pivot, Mark. Well, he ain't a fucking 6 then, is he? You know, a 6 is someone who sits on their own. It's not a double pivot. So he is somebody that at Monaco sits with somebody else. He plays in a 2. I think it was Kamara at Monaco. It was Tchouaméni at one point. He's 25. He's 6'1". That's a positive. A bit of height, get rid of McTominay, so that's a positive. But basically, he in the Monaco team, he is very, very, very energetic, and he plays a lot of forward passes, and he wins the ball back. But I don't think he's a 6. I mean, you could turn him into a 6 if you wanted to, but I don't think he's a 6. So I think if you buy Fofana, you've got to do what I've said I wouldn't mind us do, actually. You know, our midfield, when you look at it, 6, 8 to the left, 10 more advanced on the right. It's almost like a, what do they call it? It's not an equilateral triangle. It's got different angles to it. So pivot, 6 to the left, right, a little bit more advanced. So to the left, sorry, 10 to the right. I wouldn't mind having 2 together, symmetrical, and then a proper triangle. You know, a triangle will equal sides. The base is the 2, and then Bruno is the point at the 10. I would like to do that. You could do that with Mainu, and you could do that with Fofana if they shared the same role. But we've never done that. We've always had a holding midfielder. So I think if you want to describe Fofana as a defensive midfielder, he's got to have someone next to him, whereas Ugarte would be a 6 on his own, much the same as Rodri would, or someone like that. Interestingly, though, when you compare last season's stats with Rabiot, Zubamendi, Ugarte, Fofana and Casemiro. I've probably done too many. Let's bin off Rabiot, to be honest, because we're not going to sign him. So passes per 90, Ugarte 50, Fofana 56, Casemiro 55. Accurate passes, 91% for Ugarte, 84% for Fofana, 84% for Casemiro. So Ugarte, slightly less passes per 90, but way more accurate. However, forward passes per 90, 8.5 Ugarte, 20.1 Fofana, 22 Casemiro. Accurate forward passes percentage, 72% for Ugarte, 73% for Fofana, 73% for Casemiro. So Casemiro actually passes the ball forward more than Fofana, and they both pass it forward way more than Ugarte. So on passes, Ugarte has a better overall pass accuracy, but forward passing, it's Fofana and Casemiro by a very long way. Defensively, though, this is where we want to look at these players. So again, we'll look at Fofana, Ugarte and Casemiro. Successful defensive actions per 90, 12 Ugarte, 8 Fofana, 16 Casemiro. I don't know where Casemiro's getting these fucking stats from. He must be buying the website. I just don't... this is why stats don't mean anything. So Casemiro does more successful defensive actions than Fofana and Ugarte, and he passes the ball forward more than Ugarte and Fofana. Defensive duels per 90, 12 for Ugarte, 6 Fofana, and 9 Casemiro. So defensive duels per 90, Ugarte kicks the shit out of Fofana. He's doing double per game, and he does 3 more per 90 than Casemiro. Also, aerial duels, Casemiro is the best with 2.6 per 90 over 1.9 for Fofana and Ugarte. So, look, I think in answer to what people might be thinking, I think with Fofana, definitely more of an 8. And Ugarte is more of a 6. If you're going to play a double pivot, Fofana could work. If you want to play someone on their own, it ain't going to work. It's as simple as that. But for PSG need to lower their price. Would I like to buy both? Yes. Would I want Fofana over Ugarte? No. I don't know whether we're buying 2 midfielders. So, yeah. Centimeters says, do you think Casemiro is severely underrated? Mate, when you look at the stats, they're good. When you watch him with your eyes, he's a bloody nightmare. And that's why I don't believe in stats, because Casemiro's stats are better than Ugarte and Fofana for both areas, defensive and passing. But we've watched him. He was a bloody nightmare last year. We conceded loads and loads of shots. So, all right, he might pass the ball forward more than Fofana, and he might have more defensive actions than Ugarte, but we were conceding more shots than the bloody territorial army. You know, territorial army, I meant to say. So, you know, stats don't mean everything. You know, you can't keep Casemiro because of the fucking stats. We've seen the eye test. We need to make a change. Can we make a poll on where United will finish this, Darwin Nunez? We might do that later, yes. Griffin, welcome to the Members Club. You're a legend. Hi, Mark. This transfer window is only a 6 for me. Things have slowed down. With no outgoings that matter, we need a shock exit and elite signings, says Tom. I like that comment by Tom, you know, because I said this last week. Stay calm. I think the thumbnail said stay calm. People were talking about, oh, God, this is the greatest summer transfer window ever. And we've made 2 signings and we've sold 3 players. We've still got shitloads of players that need to go. And we still have a lot of players that need to come in. And the minute you start championing something before the race is run is the minute you make a big mistake. August the 31st is when I will judge this transfer window. It's been a decent start, but you've got to keep your foot on the fucking pedal. And the pedal is rising again. You know, we were going very, very fast. We're slowing down a little bit now, so we need to keep it going. I agree with Tom. Hope you're well, mate. I listened to the podcast on my commute home and loved it. For your attention, George Best played for Hibs. McTominay Ballon d'Or. Thank you very much. PSG wanted to fund their bid for Neves. We should skip Ugarte and get Neves to partner Mainu, says Benny. Billy Walsh says, at the end of this window, Ineos' biggest accomplishment might be changing United's reputation in the market. Multiple targets walking from deals. Yes. That was from Billy Welch. Hitton says, some sort of Ugarte plus cash swap for Sancho. Mariku says, we're really bullying AC Milan. And Trig says, are we in... I'm not reading that out. Morning, Mark. Unlikely, but maybe United are going for Fofana because we'll do a swoop for Neves, says Family Channel. And maybe we should ask PSG for 70 million for Sancho, says Sam. Dennis says, same with Bayern and Simmons. Agreed with the player, but PSG want a ridiculous amount, so they're approaching Doué now. PSG are hurt from Mbappe. I mean, that's a good point from Dennis as well. Mbappe walked from PSG for nothing. PSG probably do need to make a bit of money, but... Nabil says, greetings from Malaysia and thank you, Mark and United Stand staff for the news and updates as always. Well, thanks everyone who's tuning in tonight. If you are just tuning in, Man United are apparently in for Fofana, and it could be to the detriment of the Ugarte deal, with PSG unwilling to move away from what is quite ridiculous. 70 million euros, 60 million pounds is what they want. And, you know, Man United have got to walk away from that. They have. I really want Ugarte, but we've got to walk away from that because it's just stupidity. It's absolute stupidity. They bought him for 60 million euros a year ago from Sporting Lisbon. They want to sell him. You know, if he's so bloody good, if he's so important, keep him. You know, you've said you want to sell him. You put him up for sale, and then you want 60 million. And also, get to fucking grips with the transfer market, lads. It ain't that. They must think it's 2019. The transfer market's dead. Absolutely dead. There's nothing going on. Like, there ain't nobody walking around with £100 million in their pocket going, yeah, let's do it. Like, it's you know, it's simply red time. Money's too tight to mention. So they can jog on. They can absolutely jog. Look, I don't care who the player is. I want Ugarte. I wanted Branthwaite. But I don't want United's reputation in the bloody mud. You walk away. There will be other options. Zubimendi. You know, there are other options. It's sad, but this is where the resolvement of fans will be tested, because I think a lot of people wanted to walk away from Branthwaite because they didn't want Branthwaite. Now it's Ugarte. Some people are going, no, I don't want them to walk away because they really want Ugarte. Now, fortunately, I wanted Branthwaite, so, you know, I'm used to it. I agree. We have to walk away. We had to walk away from Branthwaite. I wanted Branthwaite, but I did agree, walk away. I want Ugarte, same thing. If you want to build a reputation in this game, you walk. That's what you do. We're gonna have to walk. It's sad, but we've got to walk. Now, if we get Fofana instead of Ugarte, and we keep... I mean, what do? You'd have Bruno, Mount... Mainu, Fofana. You'd have to keep Casemiro. Maybe sell McTominay, Collier. You'd have, if you got Fofana, you'd have to keep Casemiro because Fofana's not a 6. So you'd have to keep Casemiro. If you get Fofana, you'd have to keep Casemiro and sell McTominay. That's what you'd have to do. Yeah, you'd have to do that. But let's see what happens. On the other hand, I wouldn't say Man United are taking the piss out of PSG. I would say that Man United, quite rightly, could be looking at options so that PSG might think, shit, you know, and start being realistic. But I ain't got a problem with that. You know, somebody said it in the chat. Do you think it's just a tactic from Man United to get PSG to, you know, lower their price? Whether it's a tactic or not, they should do it, because what if the tactic doesn't work? You've got to walk away anyway. So you may as well try it. You may as well try it. Isaac says, I think Zubimendi's the technical player we need anyway. Peter Galt, thanks for your super chat. Franklin says, please inform Manscaped. We are unable to place orders in here in Nigeria. Access to the website is denied. Franklin, that is your loss. I hope you have some sort of alternative. Otherwise, things are going to get out of control. Evening Mark, thoughts on Brobby news from Pletigol saying he could leave Ajax for 25-30 million and is keen on the Premier League. Stefan, I'm going to christen you, Stefan, the king of slow sports news. We literally spoke about this on the morning show. There's been 2 shows since then. We could be doing a tactical FFP move where we overvalue Sancho and PSG overvalue Ugarte, says Julius Hibbert. Look, mates, you're not wrong. Just because people did it at the end of June, like Villa and Everton and Chelsea, doesn't mean you can't do it in August. I mean, at the end of the day, you could do that. But I don't think that is going to happen, but you could do that. You could get 45 million, 50 million from PSG for Sancho and then give them 60 million for Ugarte. But, you know, I don't know whether we are going to do that. Hyen's report says, proof it's not on Casemiro, it's the team. Mate, I'm a big fan of Casemiro, right? I'm a big fan of Casemiro. And if there was any part of me that thought Casemiro can go back to what he was like two years ago, I would be there cheerleading for it. You know I would. I'd have this T-shirt on and I'd have one of them short mini skirts on and I'd be getting my pom-poms out. I would. Going, give me a C, give me an A, give me an S. I don't know how to do it, right? But honestly, if you want my honest opinion, and as I say, I'm a massive fan of Casemiro. At the start of last season, I was going absolutely crazy at people saying his legs are gone. I said they're disrespectful prats. He was our player of the year before. Honestly, I cannot sit here and say I think Casemiro can do it next season. I don't. I genuinely think it would be a massive mistake by the club to keep him. I think he is a liability. I honestly do. I just don't think he's got the mobility. I watched him a lot from Christmas and he just hasn't got the mobility. And look, it's interesting that his stats are still good, but even in pre-season, he's looked bad. Even in pre-season, I think the thing about Casemiro is because his game is starting to disappear with age, there are still, I think I would describe Casemiro as a 50p piece. Like, you know, you flip it, it's heads. You flip it, it's tails. And I think sometimes in a game, he'll do something really, really amazing. And then he'll go and do something crap. And then he'll do something amazing. And then he'll do something crap. And I think that is the problem. The word is consistency with Casemiro. Obviously, his game's not fell apart completely. But if you're going to be a number 6 for a team that wants to get in the top 4 in the Premier League, you've got to be consistent. And I just don't believe that there is a... what do they call it? An Indian summer for Casemiro's career. And if you don't know what an Indian summer is, I think what it is when you get a really load of hot weather in like September, October in the UK. They call it an Indian summer for some reason. And maybe we will have some Indian people from India watching. Tell us the origins of that. I don't know, but we call it that over here. So for Casemiro, an Indian summer would be late on in his career. There is suddenly a late renaissance. We saw it with Matic for a season, but I think it's a massive risk. And also, on top of that, not only is it a massive risk, it's also a massive expense at 300 grand a week. You know, you can't pay someone 300 grand a week on a chance. You know, you want a lot to happen. Julius Hibbert, thank you very much. Hi, Mark. With Bayern and PSG not budging on the price, I think we might pivot to Fofana, but might go for De Ligt. Or can we pay release clause for Zubamendi? We'll have to wait and see, Pratik. Hi, yes. Welcome to Members Club. Can you make a poll on where United will finish? We'll definitely do that. He seems emotionally off, though. Very odd. Yeah. I agree with that, Juan. I do agree with that. Ruben, welcome to Members Club. Kashif as well. Absolute legends. Why not Fofana and Amrabat, says Billion. Yeah, I mean... also, Casper says Zubamendi and Fofana, is it possible? Look, if we're buying two midfielders, it's a different story. If you're getting two midfielders, you could get Fofana and Ugarte. If you're getting two midfielders, you could get Fofana and Zubamendi. You could get Fofana and Amrabat. You could get Amrabat and, you know, there's lots of combinations you could go for. But I don't know, other than what we want, I don't know where this two midfielder logic is actually coming from. So, you know, I think we have to be a bit cautious there and presume that it will be Ugarte or it will be, you know, Fofana or Zubamendi or Amrabat, and that will be it. I'd like it to be more, of course. Fabrizio's tweeted about Chalobah. We're going to talk about him in a moment. I mean, disgusting the way that Chalobah's been treated by Chelsea, by the way. They basically said, you're not coming on tour, go and find yourself a club. And he played really well for them at the end of last season. I mean, Chelsea's a funny club. And I don't mean like you say Chelsea and you start laughing. They're a funny old club, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So yeah, that's where we are with Fofana and with Ugarte. Also, another story coming in today that I thought was quite interesting was ESPN. I think it was Rob Dawson was definitely involved in it. I think one of the other journalists was involved in the article as well. If it was an article, it might have been a conversation. Also want to bring this in a minute. David De Gea was very upset with those he held responsible for his Manchester United career ending, Ten Hag and John Murtough. De Gea even told his inner circle that he would be happy to return to United if those two were no longer there. Well, I'm a massive fan of Ten Hag. I'm a massive fan of De Gea. Maybe we'll get time to talk about that. But this is what was said by Rob Dawson today. It was with Julian Lorenz as well of ESPN. Erik Ten Hag is still keen to sign a central midfielder, another centre-back and a right-back this summer. Jadon Sancho was offered to PSG and is being considered by the French club's hierarchy as he suits the profile of player they are looking for following Mbappe's departure. Manchester United would still consider offers in the region of £40 million for Sancho. Also, Manchester, this is a big one. That's the dog getting me up at 2 o'clock, that is. This is the big thing. ESPN, Rob Dawson, Julian Lorenz. Manchester United are encouraging offers for a number of senior players to fund further transfer business this summer. And this is key. You know, if you're talking about two centre-backs or you're talking about two midfielders, then players have got to go. United will consider offers for Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, McTominay, Casemiro, Eriksen, Anthony, Sancho. So 8 players. Look, I don't think for 1 minute Anthony's going anywhere. So I'd take it down to 7. And with Casemiro, we've already tried. So I'd take it down to 6. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, McTominay, Eriksen, Wan-Bissaka. I've said that. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Eriksen, Maguire, Sancho. I think I got that right. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, McTominay, Eriksen, Sancho. That's it. 6. We need to entertain offers for these players because if apparently we're on 1.9 million subscribers, by the way, I'll double check that. But we need to entertain these players. Oh yes, get in. We've sold McTominay. No, we haven't. We've hit 1.9. Come on, smash a like on the video. That's massive. That's massive. If you know, you know. I feel like kissing that cup. Yes, absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I didn't realise we'd done that. I don't normally get surprised. Very, very pleased about that. Fantastic moment. Look, 10 years of the United Stand at Christmas. Can we do 100,000 subscribers in 4 months? 5 months, actually. Maybe we could. It's a lot to go for. That's 20,000 every month. But keep sharing the video. Keep spreading the word. Keep getting involved. If we can hit 2 million subscribers for 10-year anniversary, we're having a disco. But 1.9 million, well done, everybody. You know, well done. Now, and this has got nothing to do with me. Like, this has got nothing to do with the team behind. You're the people who subscribe. You're the people who get involved. Absolute legends, the lot of you. So thank you very much. Make sure you tap yourselves on the back and smash a like on the video. But look, going back to what I was saying about ESPN, if you want Fofana and Ugarte, or if you want Amrabat and Ugarte, then you need to sell McTominay and Casemiro. It's as simple as that. If you want De Ligt and you want 2 centre-backs, then we need to sell Lindelof and Maguire. If you want a new right-back, then we need to sell Wan-Bissaka. So there's no point beating about the bush. Like, if you want 2 midfielders, we've got to get rid of 2 midfielders. If we want 2 centre-backs, we've got to get rid of 2 centre-backs. So this is the way it's going to work. And United do need to start selling some of these players. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on, doesn't that look good? Doesn't that look good? Look at the smile on his face. Doesn't that look good? It looks great. Well done, everybody. It does look great. That looks great. But look, for me, Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Casemiro, Eriksen, Sancho, Anthony, they're all getting on the plane tomorrow. They're all flying off to America on their pre-season holiday. So we ain't getting rid of them for another 10 days. So, yeah, it's we do need to start getting some players out. Gifted 5 memberships. Mojo, you're a legend. Kashif, thanks for your super chat. 2 million subscribers or sell McTominay, says Spray Studios. 2 million subscribers, mate. The community comes first. Congratulations, you deserve it, says Ruben. Well, you all do, to be fair. Raz says, sell Mount, get Baumgartner. Surprised I've not seen anyone him after a good Euros. He's a good player, Raz. He's a good player. Sheriff's just gifted 50 memberships, by the way. What an absolute legend. Mojo says, an Indian summer is usually from May to July. Temperatures reach 50 degrees Celsius. It gets the Indian summer analogy because the British used to move their capital from Calcutta to Shimla, a hill station, during the summers. There you go, Mojo. Thank you very much. Ruben's gifted 5 memberships as well. Thank you very much to Ruben, legend. Mark, I feel that it's one between Fofana, Ugarte, Zubimendi, and one between Rabiot and Amrabat. Thoughts? Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree, because Zubimendi will cost 50. Ugarte should cost 50. Fofana's going to cost 30, whereas Rabiot's free and Amrabat's going to cost about 10. So you're right. You could get a cheaper one and a more expensive one. Fofana's interesting, though, because he's sort of in between, isn't he? He's 50. He's 30 instead of 50. But I do agree. Mull says, why is the camera so zoomed into your face? Yeah, Mull, you're an idiot. An absolute idiot. Like what Mull has tried to do. Look, mate, you don't get 1.9 million subscribers and do this for 10 years to get caught out by 2 names that start first name Mull, second name Hester. Mate, you're on the wrong channel. Go and find one with 2,000 subs and you can have a little joke. But you ain't going to catch me out. You got to get up very early in the morning. And I'm getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning with a puppy at the moment to let it have a piss. So you ain't getting up early enough, Mull. Forget about it. You've embarrassed yourself, in fact. In fact, you've embarrassed yourself. Trying to catch me out with something like that. Bloody hell. You know what? Trying to catch me out like that is like trying to have a one-on-one against Messi and winning. You get absolutely shat on from a great height. You've been done there. Joy Boy says, have an Indian and don't forget the poppadons. Mate, you're very generous. £20. Thank you very much. Thanks for the super chat, pal. No, but you know what? I appreciate all the memberships and everyone who gets involved, but it's always nice when someone says, there's a £5 get a pint, or Joy Boy. I will definitely have an Indian tomorrow now, because that will stick in my head. He seemed emotional that you've done that one. Thank you very much. Okay. Mull says, soz mate, have a good day at least. United stand on top. You tried. Thanks, Mull. I nearly said the second name then. You know what? That might have been a psychological trick. because I nearly said fair play to Mull and then said the second bit, but no, you're not going to catch me out. Mojo's just gifted 10 memberships, an absolute legend of the chat. Nick's a new member as well. Harris says, what Chelsea has done with Chalobah is exactly what we need to do with the likes of McTominay and Maguire. We need to be very ruthless. Well, just on Chalobah, by the way, because Sam C, who works on the United Stand, does a lot of stuff for us around United, but also has good connections around Chelsea. I was saying to him today, what's going on with Chalobah? Because there was talk of Man United and Chalobah at the start of the season. He's an interesting profile of player, Chalobah, because he can play right back, he can play centre back, and as a player that came in as a sort of fourth or fifth choice centre back, as a homegrown player, I think there's a lot of merit to it if you could get him for 20 million quid. But apparently Chalobah's been told, you're not coming on the tour, go and find yourself a club. Which is really, really harsh for a player that was playing well for them at the end of the season. But, you know, United are like, get on the plane, lads. Get on the plane, lads. And look, I agree with that comment before. The summer transfer window so far has been very encouraging. But we're not even halfway there of what needs to be done. And you know what? I wouldn't say I'm concerned, but there's people getting on that plane tomorrow that need to be going on a plane with somebody else on their tour. And you know what? Getting rid of Greenwood was a good deal, but it had to happen. Getting rid of Kambwala was because Kambwala wanted to go. And don't claim Varane and Martial, they were out of bloody contract. So start selling some of the deals that are difficult. Like, that's what we need to do. There are players that need to go this summer transfer window to help us bring other players in. There's clearly a shitload of players that we can bring in, but to bring them in, we're going to have to raise funds. And to raise funds, you need to start getting rid of this dead wood. There's 7 or 8 players that have got to go still, and we've got to get them out. Don't give them any encouragement by, oh, you've done quite well in pre-season. Do you fancy staying? We'll be in the same shit again. We've got to get rid of players. This goes beyond the manager. If Southgate was in charge, if Tuchel had been in charge, with Ten Hag in charge, with Mourinho in charge, Rangnick, Solskjaer, we've seen this for years. You've got to get rid of this shit. You've got to get rid of this deadwood. Like, we've got to get rid of it. It will let us buy more players, and we've got to get rid of it. We can't fall into the trap of a smiley face in training. Oh, look at them. They're smiling. They've got a six-pack. Fucking hell. We've seen what happens when the real football starts and the transfer window closes. Get them out of the football club. Get new players in. It's the only way we'll catch the likes of Arsenal and Man City. Kashif, thank you very much. Just on Amrabat, by the way, there was an update on Amrabat that I wanted to bring into the show. Let me say, I'm going to talk about this De Gea thing. We're going to have time. Ben Jacobs also has said that Man United hold a genuine interest in Chelsea centre-back Chalobah. The defender has been left out of Chelsea's pre-season tour and is likely to leave for about 25 million. Amrabat wants to return to Manchester United. Fiorentina want the situation sorted out quickly and are ready to talk whether that be for a paid loan or a discounted transfer. Amrabat's really weird. Like, I want to run a poll on this. Ugarte's been running for ages. Ugarte and Fofana, 73% of you gone for Ugarte, 27% of you gone for Fofana. I can't. Something just popped into my head. I can't say it. I don't do that anymore. I don't do the beef. I don't do the beef. There's a great. I'd have done it 5 years ago. I've changed. There was a little dig comment I was thinking of there, but there's just no point. We don't need to do it. We don't need to do it. I'm not that person. I don't do any of that anymore. I knew everyone would say so. No, I'm not going to say it. There's no point. Basically, in a nice way, there's a lot of people that have, been part of the United Stand who have said it only got to 1 million subscribers because of me. And, I always say it's a team effort, but we're very close to 2 million. So what was your magic? Because everyone who stayed has still took it to close to 2 million. So that's all I was going to say. But I had more to say, but I'm not interested in that. At the end of the day, it's a fantastic community, and there's good people who've come and gone, and there's still new people that will be part of this journey that you've not even seen yet. And I think that's the great thing about the United Stand. There's good people who've been and gone, both in front of the camera, behind the camera, and in the community. We've lost people along the way. But for nearly 10 years now, we've been doing these shows, especially the 8 o'clock ones, and it's just amazing. And the amount of emails we get from people saying, you know, my dad loved the show. They've not died. They've just started watching something else. They like EastEnders now. But no, on a joking point of view, on a non-joking point of view, we do get those sort of things, of course. People deal with serious issues, mental health, you know, loss of friends and loved ones. You know, I'll never forget that stream with when we found out about Kipster passing away, young lad with the heart condition. Probably only I've only cried about 5 times in my adulthood, and that was just horrible. We've shared the ups and downs in football, and at times we've shared the ups and downs in real life as well. And it's just an amazing journey, which I'm never, you know, I don't know what I'll do at 2 million if I'm doing this at 1.9, but it's an amazing journey, and everybody's had their part to play. Everybody has had their part to play. But the interesting thing is that nobody's solely responsible for what this is, whatever it is. And people who claim they are fools. It's a journey. And I'll tell you for free, on the journey from 1.9 to 2 million, there's people you haven't even seen yet. There's people getting involved that you haven't even seen yet. So the journey, we go on. We keep going. What was the either or? My brain, my memory's going. I'm knackered. What was the either or I wanted to do? What was the either or I wanted to do? I've completely forgotten. Idiot. Someone's going to tell me. Amrabat. Yeah, that was it. Sign Amrabat. Let him go. No, not let him go. It wasn't ours. Forget about it. That's it. There we go. So either or, sign Amrabat or forget about it. I think it's an interesting one. Mojo's gifting memberships like he's bloody John Lewis at the moment. He's absolutely pouring them out. A legend. Can we see a United BTS for 1.9 million? I would love it. What's BTS? It's that Mull again. He's just trying to catch me out. I don't know what that is. Now I've got to Google it. I don't know what that is. Be there soon? I don't know. This guy's catching me out, trying to catch me out. I don't know what it means. Can we see a United stand behind the scenes? Oh, okay, Mull. And I nearly said the second game again. Yeah, 100%. I've been planning that for a while. It's just getting the time to do it. Never going to happen in the summer, though. I can't even bloody do Cooking with Goldbridge. Amrabat and Fofana says, Raz, I've got a feeling we'll do a Leicester next season. Signed books still in stock. Might get one, says AM United. Mate, I don't know how many signed books are left, but if you click the link in the description or pin the live chat, check it out. Some of them signed books are great because I was getting so bored. I was writing stuff like, your mum likes it up. Rhymes with mum. Begins with B. So I was writing all sorts of stuff in them. Just don't gift it to your mum. She'd be going like, what's Mark on about? How does he know? But I was bored. I had to sign 1,000, so I was just getting bored writing stuff in. They're on the WH Smith link in the live chat or in the video description. I don't know how many are left now. But please do pre-order them. I want to get into the top 10. We're really pushing for that now. Pin in the live chat. Thanks you, AM United. We need both profiles. Ugarte is what we want from Casemiro. Fofana is what we want from McTominay, says Ivan. Yeah, we do need 2 midfielders. It's whether we can get it done in one summer. Yoro is open to a move to Man United, says Canna Dave. Graham Cox, welcome to the Members Club. Mojo's gifted 20. You can't catch Mark. He's the Gordon Ramsay of this, says M. Parker. And to be honest, Mark, I don't see us selling half of those players you've mentioned. Ineos are making good moves in terms of buying players, but we need the players out, says Sam. Sean Keane says, Super Mark. Soz, mate, have a good day. Thanks for a mull. Mate, you know what? I always said I would judge this transfer window on sales. Look, I'm not going to give us 1 out of 10 if we buy good players, but we don't sell any. But we've got to sell players. And look, I don't count Varane, I don't count Brandon Williams, I don't count Shoretire, and I don't count Martial because they were out their contract. Easy work. Greenwood had to go and wanted to go. Easy work. Camboala wanted to go and there was a good offer. Easy work. Donny van der Beek, we basically gave him his bus fare to Girona. Easy. We've got to start selling properly now. Ineos will want to. No other CEO or director of football has been able to sell properly for 10 years. We're crap. I think Mason Greenwood's our best sale in a decade, and he went for 27 million. We're shit at selling. I think the next best one was Dan James for 25 to Leeds. So we're shite at selling. So bottom line is, I will judge part of this transfer window a lot on sales. Now, how many do you think we will sell out of Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, McTominay, Casemiro, Eriksen and Sancho? There's 7 there. I think we've got to sell all 7. I certainly think we've got to sell 5. You're probably right. We might only sell 3. And if we only sell 3, it damages next season because those players have got to play games. And when they play games, you're not as strong as you could be. The sad thing is, if Eriksen, McTominay and Casemiro go, you can get Amrabat and Ugarte or Fofana and Zubimendi. That's the disappointing thing. If you get rid of Casemiro, McTominay and Eriksen, you can have 2 midfielders cinders. You shall go to the ball. If you get rid of Maguire and Lindelof, you can bring in De Ligt and maybe even another centre-back. So these deals are there to be done. It's not like, well, we can't get rid of Casemiro because there's no value in the market and there's no midfielders. There literally are deals to be done. There's about 5 midfielders we could go for. There's about 5 centre-backs we could go for. But we've got to sell to buy. And therefore, if you want to be completely blunt about this, Ineos have done well, but we know there are 2 midfielders to go and get, and we know there are centre-backs to go and get, but we also know they've got to sell Lindelof and Maguire. They've got to sell McTominay, Eriksen and Casemiro. Well, over to them. That's the challenge, and that's why they've got Ashworth, Barada, Favell, Wilcox. I think they can do it. There's no reason to believe they can't do it, but they have to do it. And if we can do that, then the revolution really does start. Use Mount as a sub for Kobe. As 8 don't get Fofana, go for Ugarte, says Atulia. I'd done a rough calculation, and getting rid of Varane, Casemiro and Sancho would free up 40 million of our wage bill, which is crazy if you ask me, says Ruben. Mate, did you see that Real Madrid are the first club to top 1 billion in revenue in 1 year, up 27%. I think the highest revenue ever recorded by a football club is 750 million, and they've gone up to over 1 billion. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable what the... I mean, look, I'm not jealous of Real Madrid. Well, I am. Of course I am. But you know what? It's like the guy next door turning up in a gold-plated Ferrari and knowing you can do his job. Man United should look at Real Madrid and go, well, hold on a minute. Premier League's a better league than La Liga. We've basically been in the bloody basement for the last 10 years. You know, we've been like a bag of potatoes, just, you know, growing bloody them white things out of it. Show me the sunlight and we will have 1 billion revenue. That's why the Glazers are still here. That's why Ineos are excited, because we can make that sort of revenue if we're successful. But if you want to make that sort of revenue, then get rid of those players and bring the better players in. Because if you want to compete with Real Madrid, I don't want to remind you, Mbappe, Rodrigo, Vinicius, Camavinga, Bellingham, Tchouaméni, Valverde. We ain't competing with them with Maguire, McTominay, Casemiro, you know, Eriksen, Lindelof. You've got to get rid of him. Mark, bring back the group calls you did with United Stand team, or have more group studio staff. Would love to see a Q&A sessions more often, says Tom. Yeah. But you know what? I think everybody does that now. You know, that was the evolution of the United Stand. We started all of that. Watch-alongs. We started these, you know, streams where you've got 4 people on a screen chatting away. We did that 10 years ago. Me, Kev, Rich, Martin, Alex. We were doing that 10 years ago. And I think to go back to that, as much as I love it, we started it, you know, love it. But also, that's what everybody else does. So We have to look at different ways of doing things. We've got our forum. It's actually in a studio. It's professional. So, you know, that's the way we like to do things at the moment. But certainly got lots of ideas. And I think that's what we're always about as a community, isn't it? What's the update on another centre-back, says Kyle. I mean, it's the lit if Bayern Munich want to play ball, isn't it? With Ronaldo and Højlund and Xerxes, I think Martial should be let go. Hyans, I don't know what you're drinking, but it's too much. Casemiro is exposed because of our centre-back can't play a high line. 300k is a lot, but others get same and play worse for years, says Leanne Diaz. Look, mate, as I said, I would love to believe that Casemiro can be the player I know he can be, but I watched him last season. I don't think it's just because of a high line that he didn't do that well. Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. Make sure you smash a like on video. Make sure you download Surfshark, 4 months free. Give it a go. Absolutely fantastic. I just want to very quickly be a bit selfish here. Story about David De Gea. Apparently he's going to announce his next club next week. I'm overjoyed. I love David De Gea. I stuck up for David De Gea all the way through. And I still think we'd have been a better team last year with De Gea in it. I think Onana had a bad year. I think we should have kept De Gea for another year. But I understand why Onana's here. We want to play out from the back. So you've got to move on. And we've had that year now. Interesting story. De Gea is going to end up at new club next week. He's going to announce it. It won't be an English club because he doesn't want to play for anyone else other than Man United. So it'll be interesting where he goes. Great to see De Gea back in football. Absolutely loved him. Apparently, he holds a grudge towards John Murta and Erik ten Hag. Look, I'll tell you a little story about life. Your mum and your dad did it together, one up the chuff, and that's how you were born. No, that's not what I was going to say. A story about life is you might have a friend, and that friend of yours might absolutely despise somebody, and that somebody meets you, and you get on with them. That's fine. Absolutely fine. Some people in life will listen to that friend and make their mind up about that person just because their friend says they're a knobhead. I like Ten Hag. I like David De Gea. I don't need to take sides on this. I understand why Ten Hag got rid of David De Gea because he wanted a ball-playing goalkeeper. I understand why David De Gea would be very pissed off about that. But I like De Gea. I think he's a legend in many ways of Manchester United. And I like what Ten Hag's doing. I don't need to take sides. It's as simple as that. That's life. Some people do take sides. They never meet people and they make their mind up about them. I'm not going to do that. What I would say is, you know, just because you want somebody to do well doesn't mean they didn't make mistakes. I thought the way we treated De Gea, I said it at the time and I'll say it again, I thought the way we treated De Gea was abysmal. We sent him on holiday with a contract offer, and whilst he was on holiday, we basically cleared his locker out and said there's no job. Because he was out of contract, wasn't he? So it was literally, don't come back. It was a horrible way to treat him. And he didn't deserve to be treated like that. And, you know, I completely agree that was a horrible way to treat somebody. And I always said, although we'll never know, I think Ten Hag lost a lot of trust in the dressing room last summer because of it. And you look at the way the season went, I think there was a battle last season, not only because of injuries, but I think a little bit of trust went as well. And Ten Hag's had to work and win that back. And he did by winning the FA Cup very, very well. But the treatment of De Gea wasn't good. I didn't like the way that happened. But we've got to move on. These things happen in life. And De Gea remains a legend to many Man United fans. And hopefully he can go and rebuild his career. I don't think United handled it well. But it wasn't anything to do with Ineos. And to be honest with you, although Ten Hag might take some of the blame, the structure above him was shit. I can't imagine that would have happened under the current regime, even though Ten Hag is the manager. Pre-ordered the book on Audible, Brev. Looking forward to it. Book Bridge, says JXSH. Look, I'm going to unashamedly push this for the next few days because the book is out a week tomorrow. It's out on the 1st of August. So basically, you're not pre-ordering it in the future now. It will be there at your house or there to listen to on a week tomorrow. So please do pre-order it because we really, really, really want to get into the top 10 for the Sunday Times list. So basically we can go, have that, Ollie Murs. So links in the description. You can scan the QR code next to me, pre-order it. If you want a signed copy and you're in the UK, there may be some left on the WH Smith link. If you want one worldwide, go to Amazon, order it that way. Audible's on Amazon as well, the audio version, which I am very interested to listen to because I recorded it. So I just can't remember what mood I was in that day. Did I get the jokes right? Were the jokes good enough in the first place? All this pressure. We've also hit 1.9 million, which is amazing. You rather 5 million subs by the end of the season or a title, says Michael. No, I'd take a title. We're not hitting 5 million subs anyway. No, I want one of my big goals is to witness a title doing the United Stand. And then I'll probably quit. Surely we'll get one. Surely we'll get one. Taryn, welcome to the Members Club. Legend. What's the update on another centre back? We've done that. Right. Thanks, everyone. Great show tonight. If you want to get your merch, by the way, I think the link's United Stand Shopify, but they're probably underneath anyway. T-shirt bridge. You know, it's only about a month a year I can wear T-shirts. I normally always have a hoodie on, but it actually is quite warm at the moment, which is great. Would you quit, really, if we won the title? Wow, mate. You know, it's better to burn out than to fade away. I'd quite like the idea of going into the sunset, but then I know what would happen. It's a bit like my FIFA career modes. You win the league and you go, we're going for the Champions League. So, yeah. I think if we won a treble, I'd go. Yeah. I will quit one day. Either I'll quit or my body will quit. One way or the other, it will come to an end one day. A horrible thought. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care, stay safe, and thanks everyone who's pre-ordering the book. Thanks everyone who's subscribing, and let's get excited. Man United fly out to the States tomorrow, and we've got 3 games in a week starting on Saturday. Take care, everyone. Speak to you in a bit.